Hey guys, it's Chandler with Utah Trikes, back with another tech video. Today we're going to be talking about the 500C display. It's a pretty simple operation, but if you don't know what the buttons do, it can be a little tricky. So we're going to go over the functions of the display, what it shows, and how to access the settings and what all the buttons do. So with most of the displays that we sell, you can mount them on any kind of handlebar and you can mount them in any orientation you want. It just kind of depends on your trike and which display you're going with. The 500C display, we typically mount on a horizontal handlebar. The way that it's designed, it has a clamp and the display is sideways, so it fits the horizontal bars a lot better than the vertical bars. If you have vertical bars and you want to use this display, you'll have to get one of our accessory mounts that will allow you to mount it horizontally on your handlebar rather than vertical. If you mount it vertical, you're gonna have to read the display sideways and it can be kind of a headache. So if that's something you wanna do, we'll link in description for the accessory mount. So the first thing you need to know, obviously, is how to turn it on. So here on the display, we have two buttons on the bottom. One is your power button and one is your menu button. So you simply press and hold the power button until you see the Utah Trikes logo. And now we're powered on. To access the menu, you'll press and hold the menu button, and that'll open up the menu. Here on the main screen, you'll see your miles per hour, and then your trip and mileage. And to scroll through that, you'll press the menu button, and it'll scroll through. So here you can see your time in minutes riding, your odometer, how many miles you've gone, your average speed for your ride, and then your max speed during your ride. Now here on the main screen, you'll see the 1 right there. That's your level of pedal assist. So it always defaults to level 1. And to raise that up, you press the plus button and that'll raise it up. And then the negative will bring it down. So depending on how much pedal assist you want, you can change that with the plus and minus. Other things that you'll see on the display will be your battery charge in volts. I always recommend reading it in volts because that'll give you the most accurate battery reading. We talked about this in our battery video. We'll link that in the description below, but I'll go over it real quick with you. A fully charged battery with a 48 volt system will be around 52 volts. And a dead battery, it'll be reading 20% or 20 volts or 0. And that means that you're out of charge. So you kind of want to watch that. The more you ride, it depends on how much pedal assist and how much throttle you're using if your motor has a throttle. So you want to watch that and kind of gauge, depending on your riding, will determine what kind of range you're going to get. Another thing you see here is a little watt thing here. This will tell you how much power the motor is giving during pedal assist or when you're throttling. Another thing you'll need to know is the secret functions of the buttons. So we already talked about how to scroll through your pedal assist and how to access the menu. There's a couple other things these do. So you'll see here, we have our max speed setting. If you press and hold plus and minus, it'll reset all of the readings. So your mileage, your minutes, your odometer, and your average speed will all be reset when you do that. So if you want to track those things per ride, you want to reset that at the beginning of each ride. Another cool feature, if you press and hold the minus button, it'll do a walk mode. So if you have to walk your trike for some reason, the motor will help you assist walking it, give you a little bit of power to help you walk. Another secret function is if you press and hold the plus button, you'll see a tiny little light indication come on. So if you have an integrated lighting system hooked up to your motor, that's how you turn the lights on and off. Most of the motors that we sell will have a little plug with 2 wires that you can wire into lights. We have an integrated lighting kit. If that's something you're interested in, we'll link that in the description. So you press and hold the plus button and that'll turn your lights on and off. The last few things you'll see on the display is going to be an error code if you have an error, as well as a couple warnings. The most important one is going to be when you pull the brake, you'll see a little yellow exclamation point light up. That's just saying the brakes are engaged. When you pull the brakes, it's going to cut power to the motor. Same thing when you're shifting. So when you shift or brake, you'll see that little indicator. That just means the brakes are applied. So if you have your brakes locked and you're trying to throttle or pedal and it's not going, if that light's on, that means your brakes or your shifter sensor is engaged. The next thing, the most common error that you're gonna see is your speed sensor. So if your speed sensor is not getting a reading on the magnet on the wheel, as you throttle, you'll see an error code come up. So you notice when I was throttling, the motor cut out on its own, and now we have a 21H code, and that's the speed sensor code. Any other codes you're gonna get are gonna show up right here. We'll go into detail on all the error codes and what they mean and some troubleshooting tips, but that's coming in a later video when we do a full motor diagnostic tutorial. So like I mentioned before, to access the menu, you'll press and hold the menu button. When you're in this screen, this will show you all the settings. To scroll through them, you'll use the plus and minus button. Minus will bring you down, and then plus will bring you up. Some of the settings that you can change here is your system units. So if you want imperial or metric, you can change it here. You can change the brightness of the screen. You can control the auto off. The auto off function is if the trike is standing idle and you're not using it, it will turn off default after 5 minutes. But you can change that or you can turn it off. You can change the battery voltage system. Most of the time, you're not going to need to change this. I recommend leaving it at 48 volts. All of our Bafang motor kits we sell are a 48 volt system. Then you can change your battery indication from voltage to percentage. But like I mentioned before, voltage is going to be the most accurate way to read your battery. Then you scroll, there's a more button. To select these, you'll press the menu button and it'll flash, and that's how you can change it. And then press menu to unselect, and then we're gonna go down to more, click the menu button. Now this will take you to the advanced settings. It has a password, but the password's really easy, 1919. So when you do it, you'll press the plus button, that gives you 1, press the menu, then you press down, that gives you 9. So you just do that again, 1919, and then that takes you in the advanced settings. In the advanced settings, you can change the wheel size, depending on what size of wheel you have. The speed limit, we already have it set to 32 kilometers per hour. You're not really gonna go much faster than that, but if for some reason you are going faster and it cuts out, you can raise that speed limit so that the motor doesn't cut out when you hit a speed. But we already have it set, so you shouldn't have a problem with that. And then we have 2 here on the advanced settings that you're not gonna be able to change because this is controlled by the programming software in the controller itself. So you can skip these 2, and then now you have your assist levels. So you can change this between 9 levels of assist, 5 levels of assist, or 3 levels of assist. And then the last advanced settings you have is a PIN number. You can put a password on the display so that nobody can get into the display or turn the trike on and use it without the password. And then you can set your PIN number for your password. And then you have a start password, and then there's a remember button so it'll remember when you put your password in. And then that's it for the advanced settings. Well, that wraps it up for the 500C display. Like I said, it's a pretty simple operation, and now you know what all the buttons do and what the secret functions are. You should have everything you need to know. If you have any other questions about this display, please give us a call or email. We'd love to help you out. Everything that we talked about, all the different products and options that we talked about, will be in the description below. We also have a bunch more tutorials, so if you need to learn some more stuff, we got a bunch of videos coming out and a bunch already on our YouTube, so check it out. With that, relax, spin fast, ride trikes.